Today we are talking about a new and improved way to track your golf game to make sure you know exactly what you need to work on and lower your scores. I'm Ryan Balanchie. Thanks for checking us out. Once again, appreciate you tuning in today. Today we are talking about the ShotScope V3 model. We have been big fans of ShotScope over the last several years. We've gotten to know the team over in Scotland. I'm a big believer in the product and the platform and the meaning of performance tracking for your game, what it can mean for your scores, and just what it can mean for your peace of mind as a golfer. And they've been an advertiser. They were last year, they were again this year. And in January at the PGA Merchandise Show, they showed me the V3 unit. And I had to keep my lips sealed. It was a tough secret to keep hold. But they showed me this awesome new upgraded version of their core unit, the GPS watch that sits on your wrist instead of having to carry a phone in your pocket, that serves as a GPS, serves as a beacon, works with sensors that you screw in the butt into your clubs to track every shot that you hit, and then ultimately spit out data about how you played to help you know more about your game, more about yourself, more about your tendencies, and put together an action plan for you to get better. And so they sent me, just before it launched, the new V3 model to play with. I've been able to play 3-4 rounds with it, and I wanted to tell you about the features of it, what makes it different from V2, what makes it better, and also what makes it such a compelling purchase, maybe compared to what else is in the marketplace for game performance tracking. So first, the V3 unit comes in this box, very small box, very easy to get. Right now, if you can get it, it's sub $200 in the early release pricing, but you have to act quickly because these are selling like hotcakes. They did a big pre-sale for these units, and they're doing them right now. Go to shotscope.com, check it out. If you catch it too late, you may be paying regular price for these, but right now you can get it for under $200. And in this box, you're going to get this V3 watch, which we'll get into in a second, and then you also get 16 sensors. So these 16 sensors, if you've ever used one of these types of systems, you screw them into the butt end, the grip of your club. There's a hole in there. It's very easy to do. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. You screw them in, and they're labeled for each club. So put the driver one in the driver, 3-wood in the 3-wood, and you go all the way down throughout the bag. And there are different ones for hybrids or different wedges, different utility clubs that maybe you don't have a clear identity for in your bag. 16 of them, and there's one specifically for the putter as well. And so you get those 16 sensors, and you get this. This is the big improvement in pretty much every way over V2. So let me compare V2, which is this, and V3, which is this. So one of the big hangups with people who are getting into ShotScope in V2 was frankly the size of this unit. So this is a unit, basically, it's a similar function as V3. It's a GPS unit. It allows you to track your game without having to have your phone in your pocket or tap your belt or anything like that. This just tracked every shot for you because it knew in tandem with the sensor and GPS where you were hitting a shot from and when you hit that shot and when to mark it and then keep going on with your round. The problem was the V2 unit was taking up a lot of real estate on your wrist, and it's also pretty thick. So the problem with that was you would have a tendency, at least I would, to roll my wrist back in the middle of a swing and trigger some buttons. Trigger maybe I'm going to a different hole or some other function on this unit, and that caused some inaccurate data, and it forced you to kind of scramble a little bit at times. And while it wasn't uncomfortable, it was just kind of big. And for V3, they've changed all that. It's much smaller, looks just like kind of an Apple Watch size. If you're in the Fitbit Versa family, about this size, not as thick, honestly, as the Versa. But look how that sits on your wrist compared to V2. I mean, that's much thinner. And yeah, the buttons are there. I mean, you still have buttons. You need that for a smartwatch to perform the functions. But the beauty of having a smaller watch means I can have it higher up on my wrist, or I can have it looser. So the chances of me hitting any of the buttons with my wrist at any point in the round is basically zero. They took that out of the equation. They also upgraded over V2 in myriad ways. Some you're going to notice, some you're not. The screen on V2, good old black and white. This is color. It's color, and it's something that you can see in pretty much any light easily. So there's enough color with a black background that it looks modern and feels modern. But at the same time, it's not so much color and so much detail that you kind of lose the utility of it. So V2 and V3 have very similar functions. I mean, they can act as just as a GPS. So if you just want distances you don't want to track you around, it's just awesome GPS watch. It can do GPS and tracking. So you can have it give you the yardages to front, middle, and back on each hole. It's dynamic, so as your angle changes, so does the yardage to what is the actual front, actual middle, actual back to your angle. And it'll give you distances to hazards with really nice drawings of either water or circular sand in the shape that you kind of expect. It'll order them, stagger them for you, so if there's a bunker here and then one there, it'll order it for you. So it's very helpful for layups and avoiding hazards. But there's also the third mode, which is just tracking. So if you're in a competition where you can't use a distance measuring device for whatever reason, you can just go ahead and just track your round. And it won't show anything on here related to distance. It's just going to track each shot and move on. And once you're done, you tell it it's done, and it'll put together all the statistics for you. The functionality of this is really easy to use. You turn on the watch, and you let the GPS go to work. So the GPS is going to look for probably about 45 seconds to a minute to figure out where you are. It's going to give you a couple of different options if you're near a bunch of courses, or if you're just at one, it's going to say, are you playing this course? You say yes, you start the round. It'll tell you where exactly you are on the course, yardage to the first green, and away you go. You can always move between holes, so using buttons down here, you can move between holes if you have to. The really cool thing about this that I like is that the GPS unit is stronger on this. There are two of them actually. It's better, it's more refined than V2, so it makes it particularly easy when you get to the putting green. So there's this cool function in ShotScope called pin collect. And for most people, a lot of people don't putt out everything. So they might hit the first putt and then a second putt and they might just kind of fiddle with, they might pick it up or whatever. They're not concerned about the second, maybe third or fourth putt, in particular having it tracked. But for tracking your score and some shot, strokes gained and stuff like that, ShotScope wants to know how many putts you require. So they have this pin collect feature that in V2 wasn't as always reliable, but in V3, when you get on a green and you have your putter in hand, just have your putter in hand, so it knows the putter sensor is near this, it automatically comes up basically the second you step on the green. Pin collect. How many putts did you take on this hole? 0, 1, 2, or 3? And then when you're done with the hole, you just punch it in there. All right, I took 0 putts, I chipped in. I took 1 putt, 2 putts, 3 putts, whatever. And it'll collect that for you. Goes right to the next hole. So if you're taking practice strokes or you're just kind of hanging out with your buddies at the end of the hole, it's not going to come back and ask you, did you take a stroke? Once you lock that in with pin collect, you're done the hole, you're on to the next one. And it knows, obviously, you're not going to hit from the green with a putter, so it's not tracking those strokes. There's nothing really missed involved in this. One thing I did have to learn, though, is they want to know with pin collect how many total putts you had, even including the ones it's going to track, the ones you actually hit. So you can't be like, all right, I hit 1 putt and I need 1 more to tap in. It's 1 more putt. No, it's 2 putts. So that can mess up your score. Something to think about. But because they made some really intelligent decisions with this unit, it feels much more comfortable to wear, and the battery lasts a lot longer. So on the battery side, this was one of the biggest decisions they made, one of the smartest ones that they made. So in V2, this charged via USB. You just like your cell phone, you just plug the USB thing in there and you just let it sit and charge. And it's old model USB, so it didn't charge quite as quick, and technology's improved since then, but it took a little while to charge. And it also made you have a USB port, so it made this entire unit larger just because you had to have USB charging involved. They got rid of that with V3. So now it has a special charging cord. So again, if you're somebody in the Fitbit universe, you know what this kind of looks like. And you just clip it on in the charging cable. And pull it out here just so you can kind of see it functioning. So here it is. Simple cable. It almost looks like a chip clip, right? And then you put the chip clip on. And there's sensors on the bottom. There's sensors here. You line them up. Bang. Plug it in. Plug it into a USB outlet if you want. You can plug it in to a charger, however you choose to do it. It charges really quickly, first of all, which is great. easy to remove, saves a lot of space in which you actually wear, because this to charge is much less space required than a USB port. And so it charges quicker and it lasts longer. So the battery life on this is supposed to be about 10 hours of playability. I have charged it once in 3 rounds and probably didn't even really need to charge it, but I did just because of habit. So you can probably get 2 to 3 rounds out of a charge. That's awesome. I mean, that's great for any wearable. That's great for this too. So that means you can go play golf comfortably for a couple of rounds and not worry about having to charge this. And even when you do, it's going to charge quick and it's going to work well for you. The other thing about this is that we have new straps. The straps are new and they're colored, so you can get, this one came with black, but you can order with the color you want. There are 5 available, various colors. You can get different ones, so if you want to switch them out, you can do that pretty easily. But it's not just a strap. This actually performs a function. So you can kind of see the rigidity here, right here on the end. So obviously that's flexible. That's really just the part that, you know, goes on your wrist. That's measuring your wrist. But right here are sensors, and they're called power sense. So what they do is they sense when you're swinging the club to actually hit it. And they're always taking measurements, always trying to figure it out. So they're learning more of these sensors, basically spend the entire function trying to learn more about when you hit the ball, what your routine is. So I take one practice swing and then go on full shots. On chip shots, I might take a practice swing behind the ball, on the side, and then hit it. On the green, I take 2 practice strokes, step in and go. It's learning all of those things and it's associating it with each sensor. So it gets better at tracking the data every time. It's using artificial intelligence to get better every time. And so it learns your routine, makes it more capable of measuring your game and when you play. So you don't have to go back after the round to a totally capable either web portal or their app and edit shot after shot, location after location, putt after putt. So much of that is eliminated just because you have better equipment on board. You have 2 GPS units, you have artificial intelligence learning your game, you have pin collect that's more accurate. Everything is better about this. Just mentioned the app. You can download it for either major platform, whether you're in the Apple family, Android family. You download it. And so when you download that app, if you haven't already, you're going to create your account and then you're going to basically pair this watch to your phone via Bluetooth. It's going to check for firmware updates. It's going to make sure that this watch always stays up to date, and it's going to allow you to display data. And you're going to see data about your rounds. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. You're going to see how far you truly hit your clubs. You're going to see how many putts you take, what your strokes gained are, like a professional would. So off the tee, fairway shots / approach shots, around the green, putting, all of those things you're going to learn about yourself relative to who you are. And that's going to be a clue in to how you play golf. And that's the whole point of this. GPS watch is great. It's very helpful, and unto itself be pretty cool. They actually even have a standalone unit that does just that, no tracking. So if you just want the GPS part, you can go find that too on shotscope.com. But we're collecting all of this data to learn about ourselves, to learn about our game. And you can do that really well with the app. So it's going to show you, you can do it hole by hole, shot by shot, round by round. You can see where you hit the ball, how far it went. Every shot has every detail that you're ever going to need. But the bigger thing about this is it can give you data about your tendencies. What do you do when you play golf in general? What do you do at a specific course? How do you play a certain hole? You're going to learn a lot of things about how you play golf. And then on top of that, you're going to learn even more data in V3 than V2 because more data is being captured. So you're learning hundreds of data points about yourself. And what you have to figure out as you start to use the platform is, what do you need to know most about yourself? And where can you improve? Where are you good? What things are slipping? What things are improving? And as you figure it out, you're going to dial yourself in. And what ShotScope has learned is that people who use this platform basically gain 3 strokes, cut them off their scores on average, just by using this, because they know themselves better. They know things better. And I think if you take what you learn from ShotScope, you apply it to your practice, you apply it to how you play golf, you apply it to your game management. That's something not many people talk about, but the game management piece of this is so huge that if you learn how to manage your game, then you can shave strokes. You don't need new clubs, you don't need more lessons, you just shave strokes by being a smarter, more aware golfer. And the beauty of all of this with ShotScope V3 is you can do it with a really good looking GPS watch that would be great unto itself. It's very comfortable, it lasts a long time, it looks good, and really to track your game, it's no more effort than having a distance measuring device you probably already use when you play golf. What a great deal. So like I said, go to shotscope.com. Depending on when you're watching this, they're having early release pricing, so it's under $200. You're going to get this whole kit. You pick out your wristband color. You're going to love it. If you wait a little bit longer, you're going to get closer to that $250 price. But the beauty of all this, whether when you order it in the early pricing, the full price, whatever you choose to do, and whenever you choose to go for it, there's no subscription fees with this platform. That's a huge thing for me. There are competitors out in the marketplace that do have a subscription. An annual subscription is going to set you back another $100 every year. And you're paying for a platform, and I get that. But if you want to get involved with something that'll give you just incredible data that's going to help you learn and be better and not have to pay $100 every year ad nauseum to get that data and to keep that data, then ShotScope is definitely where you want to be, the platform you want to be involved with. So I would strongly urge you to take a look at shotscope.com, find out about more for yourself. You're going to love this unit just as I have. I love it more than V2. I've been playing more with it because it's more comfortable and it's just got better utility and everything's upgraded for V3 over V2. So thanks to ShotScope for sending this over. Hopefully you can learn more for yourself. You can always hit me up with questions. I'm on Twitter a lot of the time at Ryan Ballengee, and you can leave me a comment either through email here or elsewhere on social media. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.